Yo, what's going on? Welcome to the video. Murphy here. I am feeling really good today. Woke up this morning under 250 pounds. Said it's the first time in a long time, so I'm feeling really good. And actually, the lower back pain that I've been dealing with for quite a while was almost non-existent today. Could weight loss have some type of reflection on how the back feels? I think so. Now, you might have noticed, yeah, we cleaned up a little bit. Maybe that has something to do with the weight loss. I don't know. But anyway, had a really good workout today. Just under an hour to complete that thing. 4 exercises. It was the log, it was the front squats, it was push-ups, and it was pull-ups. But what I decided to do for you in today's video, because I'm making great strides with this program, because I just feel like doing this for you as a loyal viewer to this new YouTube channel, and I just wanted to give from my heart and do something special for you as my way of saying thank you. We're gonna go home, we're gonna get on the laptop, and we are going to deep dive into this program so that you can start doing it today. Let's go. Welcome to my outdoor office. I absolutely love when the weather is like this. This is just gorgeous sweatshirt weather. So just out in the garage, focusing on doing my work. And so I promised you this video. And so what I wanted to do today with today's video is actually show you the program that I've been doing for several weeks now that's helping me build my strength back up as well as drop some extra pounds. A little bit of a subtle difference between this program and things I've done in the past is I really needed to scale back on the workouts as far as the time that I was spending in the gym. Most of these workouts that I'm doing right now are an hour or less. And so I really needed to be highly effective with building my strength as well as shedding off this extra weight that I'm carrying around, and I've been carrying around for way too long now. But at the same time, I needed to meet the demands of short, effective workouts. So this is where, you know, if you watch one of my earlier videos, where I talked about the simple yet savage, that's really the technique that I apply, or that is the philosophy that I apply to every single one of these workouts. So this blueprint that I'll have on my blog, salvationstrength.com, you can actually grab this blueprint, you can implement this into your own workouts, especially if you are somebody who's just kind of like, all right, look, I need something simple, I need something effective, I need something that I can fit into an hour into my day, and I don't need a whole lot of complication, I don't need a whole lot of fancy stuff, just give me the grunt work that produces results. So that's really what I had in mind when I built out this program. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get on my computer here, and I'm gonna share with you the exact blueprint that I've been following for several weeks and showing you kind of the things that I manipulate and change up, because here's the thing, like, this is a living and breathing workout. This isn't something where it's just like, here's my workout plan for the next, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, a year, whatever, and I'm just going to do the same thing day in and day out, because that, honestly, I have a little bit of ADD when it comes to exercise and strength training and stuff, and I love to just get my hands on everything. This is why I love like powerlifting, this is why I love like strongman, this is why I love even some of the CrossFit workouts that are out there. So for me, it's like I have to have variety built in my routine, but it has to have structure as well, so that way I can progress with the routine and make sure that we're constantly improving and not just stalling. So I hope that makes sense. But as I dive into this thing, as we look at the blueprint, you can really adjust this according to your skill level as well as what equipment you might have, whether you're at a garage gym or whether you're at a home gym, or garage gym, home gym, same thing, right? Or whether you're actually working out in a commercial gym. I know the lockdowns are still going on in multiple parts of the country. So let's get into it though. I'm wasting a lot of time. What I like to do is I like to just dive in and just make this happen for you. So the first thing is I'm gonna have this uploaded onto my blog, where you can grab this link and have this workout for yourself. I'm hooking you up with the blueprint absolutely free. This is the same workout that I've been currently following to drop a little over 10 pounds so far. It's been, I think I'm on week 5 right now of my training. So just under 6 weeks, having some really good weight loss happening as well as I'm feeling much better. My energy levels are definitely up, and I'm also seeing like my lower back pain go away and things of that nature. So just all in all, feeling really awesome about this. So let's dive in, and then let me just kind of break this down. Now, what I have been doing is I've been dedicating 4 days a week to my training. So my typical schedule is what I try to do is a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday split. That's what works for me. And it has that built-in rest time in there on the Sundays, Wednesdays, as well as Fridays. Kind of a buffer day between some of the heavy lifting, because there is some heavy lifting going on here, and so I want to make sure that I'm not overtraining. I want to make sure that my lower back is recovering. I want to make sure that, you know, I'm not stalling my own progress as well, because I am going to be 45 years old this year. So I am taking into account my age, and you know, just things take a little bit longer to recover now, and so I don't want to beat myself up and then feel feel those effects moving into the next day and all that kind of stuff. So a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday split seems to work beautiful for me. If you need to adjust this in any fashion to, you know, maybe make this a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday schedule, or a Tuesday, Thursday, I don't know, you figure that out. But as we dive into this, I'm just sharing with you what I'm currently doing, and if it works for you, great. If not, I don't know, maybe get your own program, and we could definitely talk to Caliber Strong about that. Okay, so let's dive into this thing though. I'm really excited to share this stuff with you. So, all right, so 2 things that you'll probably notice right up front if you've been doing any amount of training for any period of time. 2 things you might pick up on these workouts is, one is they're very simple. There's not a whole lot going on, not a whole lot of moving pieces and puzzles and, you know, different exercises when it comes to this workout routine. 2, that these are more of full body workouts. And 3, I'm actually using 𝐿𝐻𝐬𝐬's 531 built into this. And so if you have never used 𝐿𝐻𝐬𝐬's 531, if you've never heard of the 531 program, I highly encourage you to Google 𝐿𝐻𝐬𝐬's 531 strength. It's very basic, it's very structured, and it works, and that's what I love about it. So when I decided to build out my program for this, I decided to take parts of his 531, implement it into this program, because it is simple to follow. It doesn't waste a whole lot of time. There's no fluff and stuff like any of that. And so anybody that's following me along and maybe is new to strength training, maybe new to like using percentages or even RPE, like we started in the beginning of this thing, like 531 is an amazing program because it works, because it's simple and it's very easy to follow. So if you're interested in learning more about 531, I would highly encourage you, get on Google, search it, buy the book. Always support the author, always support the coach that puts the information out there. Don't just steal this info. But if you are new to 531, you will get a feel of how this works and how it's outlined and all that stuff. So let's dive into day 1. Here we go. So day 1, we are supersetting either deadlifts or squats along with push-ups. And so I'm going to get into why the deadlift or back squat as we talk further in this video, but primarily I'm doing deadlifts on day 1. Now pick your deadlift variation. If you want to do sumo or conventional, or if you want to do an axle bar, if you want to do a trap bar, I don't care. Pick your deadlift variation and then implement the 531 strategy behind that. So here's how the 531 pretty much breaks down is, first and foremost, you're going to need to know what your 1 rep max is, okay? And so I'm not really going to go in depth in detail of how to declare your 1 rep max. Like, you could just get under the bar and figure out your 1 rep max by just loading up the weight and seeing what you can pull with the deadlift, see what you can do with the squat, see what you can do with the bench, see what you can do with overhead. There are formulas that you can use as well, and it's all covered in the 531 strength. So if you're someone who's like, well, I don't really know what my 1 rep max is, how do I determine what my 1 rep max is without having to get under the barbell, without a spotter and all that stuff? There are methods, but that's for another video, that's for another topic, for another day. But you will need to know pretty much what your 1 rep max is to implement this system. So by knowing what your 1 rep maxes are, now what we're going to do is we're going to apply the 𝐻𝐬𝐬𝐬 method, and we're going to take 90% off of that. And now we are going to use our training max. Again, if you're not familiar with 531, please invest in the course. Please invest in this book, so that way you get this video and everything I'm about to dive in makes a lot more sense, okay? So we're going to take our deadlifts. We're only doing 3 sets. Now, warm-up sets do not count. So make sure you're doing your warm-ups. Make sure you're doing your warm-ups. Make sure you're doing your warm-ups, okay? With that said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 3 sets here. Set 1 is at 65% of your training max or 1 rep max. That's gonna be a personal decision for you to decide which one you're gonna do. Me personally, I'm going off of a training max. So I took my 1 rep max, multiplied by 90%, got my training max, and now I apply these percentages to it. But at any rate, set 1 of my deadlift is now 65% for 5 reps. Set number 2 is 75% for 5 reps. Set number 3 is 85% for 5 plus. So what do I mean by that 5 plus is it's an AMRAP. You're gonna do as many reps as you physically can. I personally give myself 1 minute to accomplish those reps. So I'm not just like, you know, tackling it and then resting for a long time saying, oh, I got another set to do. And a lot of times in strongman competitions and whatnot, you have, majority of the time, you'll have a minute to complete when it's something like a static strength test of this caliber, where it's just kind of like, how many reps can you complete? Generally, it's about a minute that they give you. Sometimes it's 90 seconds, sometimes it's even longer if it's like a movement medley or anything like that. But let's keep it simple. That's what this video is all about. We're just diving in. We're just trying to keep everything as simple as possible here, right? So get that 85%. Go for a 5 plus, and then record what you do there. Now, every single one of these sets that we're doing, from the 65, 75, and 85, they're all being supersetted with push-ups. Now, for me, what I personally like doing with my push-ups is doing a sub-maximal effort. So sometimes I'll wear a weight vest, sometimes I'm putting chains around me, sometimes I'm using bands, sometimes I am using some type of accessory to just kind of overload my push-ups, if you will. But I'm never going to failure until my last set. So the first couple sets that I'm doing, sets 1, 2, and I'm doing my push-ups along with my warm-up sets with deadlifts, by the way. But what I'm doing is I'm going sub-maximal effort. So let's say I could do 25, but that's really pushing me to get 25. I might stop somewhere between 15 to 20 reps. Just kind of, what I'm doing is I'm building up, I'm building up, I'm building up. And by doing that, I'm increasing my work capacity over time. But then I'm also not just going all in with every single set. And so I can reserve that strength, I can reserve that energy for that final set where I just go all in, and in the final set, I do push for that failure, okay? So the next thing we're gonna jump into after that first series of the deadlifts as well as the push-ups, now we're gonna move into the farmer carries, into a reverse sled walk, into chin-ups or bodyweight rows. If you're not capable of doing chin-ups yet, you can do bodyweight rows off of like a TRX or rings or something like that. And then we're doing band pull-aparts as well here. So with the farmer carries, I really don't have a set weight. I just try to challenge myself with more weight each week. Sometimes it doesn't always pan out, but I'm always trying to go at least 40 feet. Sometimes I'm going for more distance. And it really, when it comes to the farmer carries, it's just more about how am I feeling for today. I'm always trying to push, you know, my heavy carry implements and challenge myself in that regard. And because this is the last real strength effort that I'm putting into my workout for today, I can judge how I'm feeling, I can judge on my performance, and I can judge how hard I need to push. So I am doing like more of RPE when it comes to these farmer carries. But you can do any kind of heavy carry. Let's say you don't have farmer bars, you could do sandbag carries, you could do yoke carries, you could do any kind of heavy carry. I love putting heavy carries into my program though, because it just builds tenacity, it builds strength, it builds core, it builds your agility, it builds speed, like it just builds everything. So, and if you're gonna compete in strongman, you're gonna be carrying some heavy stuff around. So might as well include it in your training, right? So I also did the reverse sled walk. Now I typically wear a belt with this, and this is just a way for rehabbing the lower back. And so in that regard, I'm able to decompress the lower back, helps it out a little bit, especially after all the heavy lifting with, if I'm doing the deadlifts for today, and I'm also doing the farmer carries, like it's a lot of spinal load. So I like to have that reverse sled walk, which enables me to stretch everything out and recover. Chin-ups, rows, this is for bicep strength, and of course I love pull-ups. Like if you're not doing pull-ups yet, if you're not able to do pull-ups yet, find ways that you can start building up your strength, drop in weight so that you can do pull-ups. It's the king of all exercises as far as upper body, as far as I'm concerned, because you can do pull-ups anywhere. Like if you're at the beach, you can find an overhead pier or whatnot, or somebody's deck, and you can do pull-ups there. Like you can find to do pull-ups anywhere. Like make the world your gym, right? So we then follow that up with some band pull-aparts, and we're doing like sets of like 25. So, you know, things of that nature. So I don't really have all the sets and reps and all that kind of stuff laid out without the accessory work, but typically with the farmer carries, I'm going for like at least 40 feet of distance. With the belt walk, I might do more of like an 80 feet walk. With that, our gym floor is pretty much about 60 feet. So sometimes I might go further, sometimes I might go shorter, but I always try to go at least 40 feet with everything. With the chin-ups as well as the bodyweight rows, treating that the same way I did the push-ups, going for more submaximal effort, and then going for failure kind of on that last set. And then band pull-aparts, I always try to do like 25 reps. Really, I try to get 100 reps of that in per day. So band pull-aparts is more about the shoulder health, build up again, so a little upper back strength, all that kind of good stuff. But really, that's more about just shoulder health, shoulder mobility, keeping everything in check, and all that kind of good stuff. So as we lay this thing out though, what happens then is on week 2 is we up the weights. We up the weights on the deadlifts as well as possibly the farmer carries, and then try to push maybe a little bit more with the push-ups. Maybe I change up with, like, if I did bands one day, maybe I'll do the weight vest the next, something like that. But constantly just always, just striving to outperform the previous week when it comes to that. So following the 5-3-1 system, now we're doing 70% for 3 reps. We're doing 80% for 3 reps on set 2. And then on set 3, we're doing 90% for a 3+, treating it just like we did with the 5+ earlier on. And then if you jump ahead with week 3, now you're seeing where the 5-3-1 title really comes from, because now we're doing 75% for 5 reps. We're doing 85% for 3 reps, and then we're doing 95% of our weight at a 1+. So again, an AMRAP there, and then boom, now you're starting to see improvement. Now you should be starting to see like the strength gains and all that kind of good stuff. Now, I will say, like, once you completed the first 3 weeks, we're going to do a deload. And so Jim Butler really encourages these deloads, on these 4th weeks of the cycle. And so I've been doing this myself, and so this really helps out. But I do something a little bit different with my deloads, and that is, his is like the 40%, 50%, 60% for a deload with 5-5-5. I like to increase my reps, so I'm getting a little more bodybuilding out of that. I'm getting a little more conditioning. I'm getting a little more workload out of it. It doesn't beat me up, and it definitely preps me with work capacity moving into the second round or the next cycle of this whole thing. And so what I might do, instead of doing the full-fledged deadlift, for example, because these weights are going to be a lot lighter, is I might do something like Romanian deadlifts instead. Something that's just a little bit of a different variation, but it just carries over to my deadlift. I hope that makes sense. So that's really something for you to play around with. If you want to stick to Jim Butler's, like, the 40, 50 and 60% at 5-5-5, just giving your body a complete break and all that stuff, feel free to do that. This is just what works for me. To just, again, build a little more work capacity without overtraining my body, and it still preps me, and I'm still ready for the next cycle. So do with that as you please, right? So the next thing, day 2, this is typically my Tuesday workout. So as you can see, I did a little bit of upper body on Monday, right? Like I did some pull-ups and I also did some push-ups, but day 2 is more dedicated to my upper body. So now I'm doing overhead presses. I don't do bench press, by the way, guys. I really don't do bench press a whole lot. I do what you'll see later on in this workout is a close grip floor press for accessory work, but I'm not really big on the bench press just because we don't have bench press in like strongman comps. And I'll be honest, like laying flat on my back on a bench, especially if I'm trying to create that arch like you're supposed to in a bench press, it really does bother my lower back. And so I typically stay away from the bench press. So with that said, I do the overhead press. Now, if you want to do bench presses and overhead, again, that's fully on you to take this workout, use it as a blueprint, and change it up and make it work for you. Like, have it, do what you want to do, right, with this thing. But again, we're just following the 5-3-1 now with the strict overhead press. I am coupling that in with kettlebell swings as well as dumbbell rows, one-arm dumbbell rows. Now, I will say this past week, my lower back was just bothering me too much, and the kettlebell swing was just not having it. So I put that in my notes. It's just like I 86 the kettlebell swing, just my lower back wasn't having it. You gotta make the adjustments if you need to do that. If you don't know how to do kettlebell swings, but you want to still include like some type of high intensity, you can also do something like burpees if you want to. Do box jumps. What I'm looking for here is like building up kind of my explosiveness with my hips. And so that's really where I like the kettlebell swings. But again, I just had to remove that exercise completely out of last week's training because it was was just, my lower back just wasn't having it, right? So at any rate, my one arm dumbbell rows, I really try to match that to the weight that I'm using with my overhead press. So let's say I have 200 pounds for an overhead press. That means I'm doing 100 pounds with that one arm dumbbell row. I hope that makes sense. So I'm doing basically half the weight for a one arm that I'm doing with both arms with a strict press. But you've heard me talk about in previous videos where I talk about, you know, I really like to try to do, anytime I'm pressing a movement, I'll always try to match it with some type of rowing variation as well. So now I will say with the one arm dumbbell rows, I tend to do double of what I'm doing with the overhead press. Because I'm doing 5, 5, 5 plus with my overhead press, with the dumbbell rows here, I'm doing like 10, 10, 10 plus. And that again is just, I want a big back, I want a strong back, and I want healthy shoulders. I don't want wrecked shoulders or anything like that. And by doing this, by doing the band work like the band pull aparts, and by doing these, by matching my rows, kind of a 2-to-1 ratio versus what I'm doing pressing, I've noticed that my shoulders have been healthier and I can train harder and all that kind of stuff. So I hope that makes sense. So once we kind of complete that first cycle of the strict presses, as well as the swings, as well as the rows, now I'm moving to more accessory work, but you're going to see like we're diving in again, big supersets with this thing. So now I'm getting under the bar with the close grip floor press. Floor press is a lot more comfortable for my lower back than is just laying on a bench and trying to create that arch like I talked about. But I'm really just trying to work on the triceps when it comes to this movement. So I do follow kind of a 5-3-1 with this, but I did have to make some adjustments with it as well. I kind of overshot what I thought I could actually do. Ended up, I needed to scale back the weights I was doing to complete all the sets, and as well as all the reps I wanted to complete. And that's fine. Like if you find that you overshot, like if you kind of figured out like this is too aggressive, like I'm not able to keep up with the bare minimum of the reps, like let's say it's calling for a 5 plus, but you're unable to get 5 reps, you should scale your weight back. And Jim Weller talks about that in his program, so make sure you invest in the program if you're following 5-3-1, right? So at any rate, that's what happened to me. I scaled it back, and then what I did for accessory work is I did set up my lat pull down. I set up some rope tricep press downs. I also set up some rope face pulls, and with these, I chose a weight that would challenge me, but I would just do 1 minute AMRAPs. And so just set the clock for 1 minute and just absolutely went for failure for each one of these things. For me, I really like the 1 minute AMRAPs because it challenges me. It pushes me harder than what I would do if I was just like, okay, I'll do 8 to 12 reps on this accessory exercise. Sometimes it works great for me. Other times I like just putting myself on a clock and seeing what I can actually perform where I don't worry about the reps or not really worried about the weight that I'm even using. So I'm much more focused on the conditioning that it provides as well as the work capacity that it builds over time for other lifts. So I hope that makes sense to you. So after all that is done, then I finished off with the sled, and with this I'm doing hand over hand, pulling that sled to me. You've probably seen this on some of my videos, and then push that sled back to the top. Just set the clock for a 10-minute AMRAP. Try to add more weight to the sled with each round and just building up how many rounds can I actually complete in that 10 minutes. And so we track that as well, right? So every week I'm trying to do like either more weight or try to get more rounds in within that same 10 minutes on that sled. But just like what we talked about with the 5-3-1 with the deadlifts, we're still following when it comes to week 2. We're going to follow the 70 for 3, the 80 for 3, the 90 for the 3 plus, and I'm doing this both on the strict overhead as well as the floor presses and all the other stuff. I'm just, as long as I see some type of progression, whether it's the weight that I'm using or accomplishing more reps with the same weight in that time frame, then I'm good to go when it comes to this stuff. So, all right, so let's jump into day 3. So day 3, this is my most simple of them all when it comes to the workouts, but this is my hardest workout of the week. I'm just going to be honest about this. This one just absolutely crushes me every time I do it. So the first thing I do is I just start off with a clean and press. Now, for me, I like to choose like strongman implements. So I'm either doing a log or I might be doing an axle bar. Typically, it's one of those 2 movements. But you can do this with a barbell. You can do this with dumbbells if that's all you have to work with. But I'm doing a clean and press, and it's clean and press every rep. That's where the workload comes into play. I'm not cleaning and then pressing multiple times. No, it is a clean and press for every single rep that I'm doing. This is why I'm doing the strict overhead presses on day 2. So now I'm getting a lot more explosiveness, and you might find that the 2 drills means that you're doing different weights. Like the clean and press with the log is going to be a lot different than a strict overhead press with a barbell. So you might have, you know, a couple different, I certainly do. I know that for me, I have different percentages of different weights that I'm working off of those 2 lifts. So at any rate, clean and press every single set. And just today, like I talked about how I did my log today for 5+, and I gotta tell you, I got 7 reps, and it took me a minute to get there, like the full minute, and it kicked my ass. So I'm just kind of like, man, what is week 2 and what is week 3 really gonna bring for me, right? So anyway, once I get done with those clean and presses and all those, then I'm moving into this tri-set, which is the front squats, still following 5-3-1 with the front squat. And then I'm doing 1-minute AMRAPs with both my pull-ups as well as my push-ups. So I'll be honest, I'm not grabbing onto the bar for a full minute with those pull-ups. When I need to let go and take a rest, I do that, and the clock still runs. But then I'll jump back up and try to complete, again, as many pull-ups as I can. Same thing with the push-ups. When I need to take a break, I'll take a break. The clock still runs on me. And so this whole thing is, again, about the work capacity and just giving it everything I got on every single set on that day 3. So, again, it's the simplest day as far as the routine is concerned, but it's the hardest day. Beware of that short list, beware of that short list. So it is the hardest because of the intensity that it brings. Now, day 4 is kind of a free day. And so I just kind of built this in because here's the thing. When I go to Mayhem, when I'm with the teammates there and we're catching up with everybody, like we do a lot of these Strongman Saturdays. And hey, look, if you're in the Richmond area, I invite you to come on out. We do this every Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to about 11 a.m. Sometimes we go a little bit longer. We never go shorter. But if you're interested in joining us on a Strongman Saturday, if you live in Richmond or if you're ever visiting RVA, hit me up. I'll put the link right here in the description. But these Saturdays are more for fun. And so I might pick 1 or 2 implements in which, you know, I want to work on. Maybe it's stones, maybe it's yoke, maybe it's, I don't know. There's just so much variety and so much things to do, right? But pick 1 or 2 events of my choosing and just go all in and just train it and just have fun with it. So sometimes because of the teammates that are there, we might set up some type of challenge. Those Saturdays are all about the competition and just having fun with that friendly competition, if you will. So when I say like this is Strongman Saturday or this is a free day, I really mean that. So let's go back to day 1 where I said like you can do deadlifts or you can do back squats. Some of these Saturdays I might choose to do back squats, but I might choose to do like safety bar squats, or I might choose to do Hatfield squats. And so I will follow kind of maybe the 5-3-1, or I might just work up to a 3 or a 5 rep max for today. Really don't have a set plan when it comes to that because I'll be honest, like I benefit from front squats more so than I do back squats. Back squats along with deadlifts within the same week just really wrecks my back too much. And so that's why I tend to keep them separated. But if I'm feeling good, if I'm feeling healthy and I just want to get under the bar with some back squats, then that's what I will do. And so that's why I have kind of that day 1 of deadlifts or back squats. So you could choose, again, let's say you want back squats on your day 1, then you could do your deadlifts as part of your Strongman Saturday, as part of your free day. If you want to do more bodybuilding work, do more bodybuilding work. If you want to go out and play tennis or golf or something like that, do that. Like pick something that's going to, you know, something that you're going to enjoy on your Saturdays. As for me and my crew, it's Strongman Saturdays. So there it is. Like there it is, all laid out. I know I didn't go into much of the rest and, you know, all the weights and all that stuff, but I really wanted to keep this video as short and condensed as I possibly can. I'll put more information on the blog post that's going to accompany this on salvationstrength.com, so make sure you check out the blog post that will associate with this. That's also where you'll be able to grab the link on this thing so you can actually download this template and have everything that you absolutely need. Let me close this thing out by just saying I really appreciate you following me on this journey. This is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and the reason that I'm enjoying doing it is it's keeping me accountable by doing this YouTube series, by doing this channel, and by knowing that I'm going to have viewers like you who are going to be watching this and seeing and checking in for updates and seeing what I'm up to and all that stuff. Like, it's really holding me accountable. It's really telling me, like, Sean, you got to stay on track. So I truly appreciate you watching this because it's a win-win. Like what I plan on doing and what I'm hoping I'm doing with each one of these videos is offering you some type of tips, some type of strategy, some type of motivation, some type of mindset that you can apply to your own life. And that's really what this channel is all about. It's like becoming the best version of yourself, you know, through strength. So I hope that you're getting something out of this. I know I'm certainly getting a lot out of this because, again, I'm getting the accountability from you by making this channel live and by pursuing this whole endeavor or whatnot. So if you're enjoying these videos, please let me know in the comments, and also let me know what you would like to see more of. Like, would you like to see more of these workouts? Would you like to see more of the mindset stuff? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just, right now, I'm pretty much just documenting everything that I'm doing. But yeah, if there's something that you would really like me to get into, if there's like a specific question that you have on, you know, training or nutrition or mindset or anything like that, or something that you would like to see more of in these videos that I haven't yet really covered, please let me know. So the whole purpose of this thing is to serve you, but I only know how to do that if you kind of communicate with what you want. What I'm going to continue to do is just continue vlogging my current program and what I'm doing and the lessons learned and all that stuff, and hopefully you'll get some tips out of it. Hopefully you're getting some knowledge out of it, and hopefully you're applying this stuff into your own life. So especially if you're somebody who's like, man, I'm in my 40s too, I have lower back pain, I want to get in better shape, I want to build my strength back up. Like, if that's you, I don't understand why you wouldn't watch these videos. So I truly appreciate you being here. If you got any value out of this video today, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that like button, share with me a comment down below if there's anything more that you would like to see or need help with, or maybe just one or two takeaways you got out of this video that would really serve you in becoming the strongest version of yourself. So peace, love, and strength. I'll see you in the next video.